My name is Jason.
My name is Tom.
And this is a comic strip AP of Monster of the Week featuring the story of Robert Larousse. And when we last saw Robert, it was a pretty exciting scene of Robert more or less discovering kind of what's going on at the Lombardi school. Maybe not the specific details of what they're up to, but at the very least, the sort of basic horror going on at the Lombardi school. And escaping into the night in the streets of Rome. So I guess my question for you, Robert, as we get going here, you talked last time about feeling a certain sense of urgency and fear because this creature, whatever it is, has to quote your beautiful turn of phrase, a larder of prey, right, at the ready. And that's an issue. I guess what I want to know is, how urgent is this for you right now? Like, are you going to immediately continue your investigation as you, kind of head off into the Rome night, or are you going to wait until the next day? Like, what's your plan here?
In terms of the investigation part, a little sober reflection will make me realize that I can't do anything immediately, and this has been presumably going on for some time. I mean, they had to arrange the chairs in that subterranean concert hall. If nothing else, that would have taken some time. And also that I just don't know what I'm doing, right? I'm not going to go down there and, do some kind of epic combat with a goat-headed monster. That's not really my scene. But what is, I think, urgent is finding out what happened to Anastasia, who mysteriously disappeared.
She did, yeah. She had held Cynthia, in quotes, Cynthia, at gunpoint. And when you went into that office and went to the subterranean part of the school, well, so what's your approach there? How are you going to try to find her? I'll remind you, you do have a phone number for her.
I'm just thinking I do have her phone number, but I don't know where she lives, do I? So I think I would just... I think step one is phone her, and if that doesn't work, then I'll have to work harder.
Okay, sounds good. So you call her up, and she answers.
Roberto. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting to hear from you.
You really? You weren't expecting me to call? That strikes me as unlikely.
Well, I just thought for sure that you were a goner back there. I mean, looks like they're getting up to some pretty crazy stuff over at the Lombardi school.
Why don't we meet for maybe some late night drinks, and you can tell me all about how much you knew about this school and when, and maybe when you were planning on telling me about it.
I think that sounds wonderful.
And she will give you the address and time of a place to meet her that night.
Mm-hmm. I will hop into my powder blue Fiat 500 and drive across town, parking it in a cobblestoned piazza next to some street urchins who I flick a coin to look after it while I'm there.
Nice. Is this the same night or the next day?
Same night, right?
Same night. Okay, I just want to confirm that. Yeah, so she's there. I think she agrees to meet you at maybe there's like a coffee bar or something, right?
Yeah, it has to be some. Yeah, this is has to be somewhere that's open late. I should mention I have changed out of my burglary gear now. I'm back in.
Yeah, I assumed as much.
tweed jacket and slacks or something. I don't know. Something appropriate.
You see her waiting for you at the bar. She is dressed very similarly to how she was a few hours ago. Basically, she kind of always goes around. When she's on the job, she goes around like in a trench coat and a hat, right? Kind of Carmen Sandiego style, right? And you see her across the way. 2 questions. What does she drink? And what are your feelings for Anastasia? I mean, like your true feelings, if you have them. What you're thinking about Anastasia?
That first question's really tough. Let me leave that to last. How do I feel about Anastasia? It's a kind of combination of affection and rivalry, but I wouldn't describe it as a sort of brother and sister kind of relationship. This sort of slight tendency to bicker, bit of a breakup recently, obviously, after that unfortunate incident. But we always sort of we just know each other so well after years of working together that we feel maybe somewhat incomplete not working together anymore. Or I do. I don't know if she feels that way.
Yeah, any thoughts on what she drinks?
So yeah, I just glide on over to the bar next to her and order a white Russian for me, a black Russian for her, and I say good evening.
Nice. After you order the drinks, she goes, "Gosh, it's just like the old days, isn't it?"
Yeah, it has a few things in common. You know, mixed messages, secrets being kept.
Listen, Roberto, I wasn't hiding anything from you. I know that's what you're thinking. Why did I show up at the Lombardi school, huh?
Yeah, it is like the old days, and you're kind of reading my mind in the way you used to. Why did you show up? What did you do with Cynthia?
I showed up because I knew that you would go ahead without me and scope the place out. That's your way. And so I had been following you the whole day.
Well, you know, you could have just come with me. I wouldn't have had a problem with that.
I just didn't know if I could trust you, if I'm being honest. And, I'm still not totally sure that I can. I tell you what, they're up to some weird stuff over there, aren't they? I managed to case the East Wing while you were roaming around the West Wing, and I saw a few things. A few very, very interesting things.
Anything goat-headed?
And she kind of gives you a funny look, like she wasn't expecting you to say that, right?
Understandably.
But she does say, she says, I overheard some of the teachers talking in private and very, very animated and excited about something. Said they were very, very close to finding the bride. I have a theory. You want to hear my theory?
Okay, go ahead, but I think you may be missing some, unless you saw what I saw down in the basement.
I think they're trying to marry off one of these girls to some kind of rich guy, some billionaire with tons of money to spend. That's what I think they're doing.
You are so close. I leave this hanging in silence for a moment as I drink my drink, look out at the street. Okay, so Anastasia, the next thing I say is going to sound pretty crazy, but bear with me. They are planning, I think, to marry off one of the girls, but it's not to some billionaire. Is that even possible? A billionaire? Anyway, I saw something pretty weird, pretty scary down there. And what they're doing at that school is stranger even than you saw. Yeah, no, I'm not going to talk about it right now, but you'll see soon enough. By the way, what did you do with that girl that you, had at gunpoint?
Well, I figured these girls must be really, really important to these people at this school. There must be something going on. Something that involves a lot of money. Let's just say, and she leans in conspiratorially, let's just say I got an idea about maybe collecting a ransom. What do you say? Are you in? Hi, this is Jason from the Gauntlet Gaming Community. If you enjoyed this episode of Comic Strip AP, please consider supporting the Gauntlet on Patreon. Our page can be found at patreon.com/gauntlet.